So, have you ever actually thought about what might be hiding right beneath your feet? I mean, literally straight down. Picture this. You're walking down the sunny cobblestone streets of a quiet town in Turkey, right? And directly below you, there is a massive, fully functioning ancient city burrowing 85 meters into the earth. It's wild. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cracking open the earth to look at a genuinely mind-blowing survival strategy. Okay, let's dive right into this. Did ancient humans actually live underground? It sounds like a simple question, but the answer is going to completely shatter that standard picture of history you probably have in your head. Because, as it turns out, living underground means wildly different things depending on exactly when, where, and why you're looking. So, to get to the actual truth, we've got to bust one of the most stubborn myths in all of human history. The myth of the caveman. We've all seen it, right? Pop culture loves to show us these hairy, dim-witted guys permanently squatting in dark caves. But the reality? Totally different. Researchers have proven early humans were actually highly mobile hunter-gatherers. They followed migrating herds under the open sky. If they used a cave, it was temporary. It was literally just like a modern backpacker ducking into a mountain hut to wait out a bad storm. Now, you might be wondering, why do we even have this caveman myth if it's not true? Well, it all boils down to preservation bias. Think about it. If an ancient human drops a stone tool inside a cave, it's perfectly protected from the elements. It survives for millennia. But an open-air campout in the wild, that gets weathered and eroded away in the blink of an eye. Deep inside a cave, ancient art sits in this perfectly climate-controlled darkness, while anything painted on a rock outside just washes away in a few centuries. So we only find the cave stuff, and we kind of just wrongly assume that's where they spent all their time. But nah, they were mostly out there, under the open sky. But here is where the story takes a huge, completely unexpected turn. Because while those early hunter-gatherers didn't live in natural caves full-time, later humans, they absolutely engineered their own underground worlds completely from scratch. 18. That's the number of levels in a subterranean city called Derinkiu, located in the Cappadocia region of Turkey. 18 levels plunging straight down into the earth. And get this, the whole thing was carved entirely by hand out of volcanic rock. And what exactly were they hiding in all those levels? Well, try 20,000 people. Yeah, 20,000. Derinkiu was not just some glorified panic room. It was an entire self-sustaining underground civilization. They literally built it over generations to hold that massive population for months at a time, completely in the dark. Now, the sheer engineering sophistication it takes to keep 20,000 people alive underground is just staggering. Modern structural engineers look at this and are genuinely blown away. They carved out massive ventilation shafts reaching all the way to the surface just to get fresh air and stop carbon dioxide from building up. They dug internal water wells from the bottom up so surface enemies couldn't poison the water supply. They even had fully functioning wineries, oil presses, and stables for livestock. And remember, every single bit of this was excavated using simple hand tools. It's unbelievable. So why would anyone go through all that trouble? Pure, desperate survival. They were hiding from invading armies. And the security protocol these early Byzantine Christians used was absolute genius. Step 1, the second an army is spotted, retreat underground. Step 2, roll these massive, hundreds of kilogram stone doors directly into the passageways. Step 3, lock them down. And they used this clever one-directional locking feature, meaning the doors could only be opened from the inside. Nobody was getting in. Finally, step 4, simply outlast the enemy through total surface concealment. Because let's be real, you cannot kill an enemy you can't even find. Beyond Turkey, the global subterranean survival strategy. Now, Turkey is spectacular, no doubt, but this phenomenon isn't isolated. It turns out, when faced with extreme threats, human beings all over the planet independently look at the ground and decide to start digging. But they aren't always hiding from armies. Sometimes they're hiding from the climate itself. Let's take a quick, rapid-fire global tour. Down in Cooperpedy, Australia, the 40°C outback heat is so brutal that half the town lives underground in these beautifully carved dugout homes, churches, and hotels. Over in Matmat, Tunisia, brutal desert temps led Berber communities to carve these deep, sunken pit homes. Actually, fun fact about that, Luke Skywalker's childhood home on Tatooine? Yeah, that was filmed in one of those real inhabited pit homes.
And over in China's Los Plateau, the need for stable, scalable housing led to yadongs, which literally housed millions of people well into the 2000s. And why does this work everywhere? Because the Earth naturally maintains a completely free, perfectly stable temperature of roughly 22 to 24 degrees Celsius all year round.
The mind in the dark, the psychological toll of the underground. So the crucial point here is that while the Earth might give us free climate control and incredible physical safety, retreating from the sun comes with a massive, massive hidden cost.
You see, living extended periods underground completely scrambles our biology. Up on the surface, our biological clock and sleep cycles are strictly tied to a standard 24-hour cycle, synchronized by the sun. But underground, you face the cave clock. Back in the 1960s, a French researcher named Michel Siffret spent months totally isolated in a pitch-black cave without any clocks. What happened? His internal clock drifted to a 25-hour cycle. He completely lost track of actual calendar time. It turns out, without the sun, the human mind just kind of loses its anchor.
Now, I want you to take that terrifying psychological drift and apply it to an entire city. Just imagine this timeline for a second. Day 1, you retreat into pure darkness, and you've got nothing but flickering oil lamps. By week 1, total isolation really sets in. Your entire community's biological clocks begin to drift. Then you hit month 1. The psychological weight is just crushing. An invading army is quite literally walking right above your head, but you can't hear them, you can't see them. And then, month 3. Staggeringly, this was the maximum duration residents in the underground city of Oscan had to remain hidden. Just try to imagine the children, breathing stale air, locked away from the sun for 3 whole months just to survive. And I think this brilliantly illustrates the core lesson of our whole journey today. The Earth makes a genuinely excellent home when the surface doesn't. Whether it's dodging ancient Roman armies in Turkey, escaping the absolutely merciless 40-degree heat of the Australian outback, or finding stable shelter in the Chinese plateau, human beings across completely different cultures all figured out the exact same secret. The ground beneath our feet is nature's ultimate, completely free building material. Which leaves us with a final, kind of fascinating question to ponder. As our modern surface conditions face more extreme weather and rising temperatures every single year, is the ultimate climate-controlled real estate patiently waiting directly beneath your feet? Thank you for exploring this explainer with me today. Honestly, I guarantee you're never going to look at the solid ground quite the same way again.